So, I was given a copy of this newsletter magazine. I don't know how you call it. But yeah, it pretty much looks like a newspaper. And it's called Black Seed. I was given it by a table at this punk and metal flea market at Oakland Metro, which is actually, everything else there was not really of my taste and pretty disappointing. But there was some stand that had books and some newsletters, and I guess that this is actually a local California Bay Area green anarchist. It says a green anarchist journal. Yeah, it's actually really interesting. I mean, this is an old issue, but yeah, I was just looking at some of the publications, and I didn't buy anything, and he just handed me this. And I thought it was just like bullshit, when he first handed it to me, because some of the books that they had over there at that stand were not, they were pretty dumb. But this is actually the most interesting thing I've read in a while, and I didn't really even know that there was a green anarchist journal that's being made locally. It might not be anymore, considering that's summer of 2017. It's November of 2018 now. But yeah, there's actually a lot of really good articles in here. I want to talk about a couple of them. But this one is called Murder of the Civilized. And it has a picture of this chimp that was kept by a woman, plucked from the wild. She got him from animal trafficking, most likely from Africa. There's actually quite a lot of that, if you're unaware, in the United States, particularly in the Midwest. It's actually legal to have these kinds of animals: lions, tigers, chimps. It's really terrible. And as you can see in this picture, this chimp is a baby, using a cell phone, which is, not really the environment that this chimp should be raised in. Not only is he by himself, he's essentially a baby by himself, with no one of his own species to be a role model or learn from or bond with, and the woman just kept him as a novelty. And I guess she named him Travis. And in 2009, I mean, this was pretty famous, he attacked her and basically ripped her face off. I mean, an adult male chimp is extremely strong, and just like any animal, including humans, which demonstrate it quite a lot, chimps can only take so much of being an intelligent mammal, can take so much of living in an unnatural way. Who knows what else she was doing to him, honestly. And I don't know, I just like this quote that they have in here about him. It says, Talks about another killer before Travis, which I will also talk about. But it says Travis wasn't an untamed monster at all. He wasn't just feigning domestication, he was civilized. He was able to integrate into society. He was a chimp actor when he was younger, and his owner drove him around the city frequently in association with her towing business, where he met many different people and got along with everyone. If Travis had been some nasty monster all of his life, it would have been widely reported, but to the contrary, it seems like everyone who knew him said how shocked they were that Travis had been so savage because they knew him as a sweet child. And there were 2 isolated incidents early in his life when he acted aggressively, but summarizing them would take too long, so basically I'll just say that he didn't really act any differently than a human child would, and the people who would use that as an indictment against having chimps live as humans do wouldn't apply the same thing to humans. So it's just kind of irrelevant. And it goes on to say that it was, of course, portrayed as another tragedy of civilization and not as a natural response to an unnatural way of existing in the world. Like Travis, we are raised to be something we are not. Also, like Travis, some humans escape the world of the civilized through acts of uncontrollable violence. And I think that's really interesting because, especially in our society where there is actually a lot of violence, violence is still, of the quote-unquote civilized people, still very much of a taboo. And, you know, this article talks about, again, this is an Anarchist newsletter or journal. It talks about how a lot of supposed anarchists are still against violence and just think that, you know, we can come to this utopia through just, you know, human enlightenment and just like some human emotional and mental revolution that will be completely non-violent is the way that it's going to happen. And there's a funny sentence in here. Let's see if I can see. Oh, here it is. Like alchemists, anarchists think they can turn shit into gold if only enough people will rise up. The people will revolt and bring on the socialist utopia. Anarchists might envision this magical leap happening through violent actions, but the nitty-gritty of political violence isn't clear. How will people be targeted? Who will be up against the wall? How do you eliminate a global capitalist system that so many humans now rely upon to eke out a miserly existence without increasing suffering? Would anybody be capable of dropping the blade of the guillotine in this age? It's very messy. Those who